right? And this is directly personally, to those who consider themselves pundits, man. I'm not gonna put no name on this, man. Here it is, we got a forum, and we have the ability, man, to speak to the culture, man, in a way like none other. Years ago, they had nothing called the internet. YouTube was probably just a thought in someone's imagination, a far distant thought at the time. But my thing is this, man, this is coming from a gangster, man, right? Can't none of y'all niggas challenge me. You understand what I'm saying? In any regard, I don't care how a nigga feel about me. I don't care what a nigga heard about me, because that's all it is. What a nigga heard, not what a nigga ever did or what I actually done for Tank had, man. And I'm gonna leave it right there, right? But what I'm saying is this, right? We have this forum, right? And this forum gives us the ability to speak to the issues that we see going on in our communities, issues that we see going on in our culture. It gives us this birth, man, you know what I mean, if you will, for us to be able to sit here and unpack, man, right? Sit here and unpack and then analyze and then come up with, you know, solutions, if you will, to impart back to the communities that we came from, the same communities that we said once damaged us. You understand what I'm saying? So in this forum, man, respectfully, I don't think nobody can challenge this. And I ain't no peacemaker. Anybody that know me to any degree would tell you this nigga's a troublemaker, whatever the case may be. But that was back then. We ain't glorifying anything that cannot make something productive today. You understand what I'm saying? But back to what I was saying, here in this forum, man, you know what I mean? We supposed to take advantage of this, man. Not sit here and beef back and forth with each other. I understand that that's fodder that keeps the flame of controversy burning, right? And we know that when people from a distance see two people in conflict, the first thing we do is stop and stare. Keeping in mind that here on the internet, clout is really attention. You understand what I'm saying? My whole thing is this: we got the mic, y'all. We got it. And they listening to our stories, man. You understand what I'm saying? And so in that regard, tell stories, man. Don't make this personal. Stop that. You understand what I'm saying? We all ain't gonna agree with each other's point of view. We all ain't gonna agree with each other's opinion. But just because we don't agree with each other's opinion and point of view should not make us enemies. You understand saying that should not put our lives on the chopping block, because remember, inside this forum, this is about reporting and pushing information forward. If we ain't sitting here reporting and pushing information forward without a biased tongue, then what are we doing? I'm really hoping that guys is not, trying to slither their way into this medium, bringing that sucker shit with them. Because we already seen what that type of move did to hip hop. We see what it's doing to hip hop now. They always had gangsters in hip hop behind the scene. But once the gangsters became goofies and started wanting to come in front of the camera and start divulging information, it opened up a crevice, man, that's now a hole where all this sucker shit done slithered its way in. You see what I'm saying? Nah, homie, let's not do this with this forum right here. I'm not telling dudes how to regulate. You understand what I'm saying? Or how to dip their tongue in the silver, vases that their tongues are dipped into before they spit it out. I ain't telling dudes not to do that. I'm just telling dudes to remain conscious of this forum right here. Let's not corrupt this shit with bullshit. Let's not allow animosities, from different opinions to come in here and tear this wall down. You understand what I'm saying? Bust it open and leave us with a wild hole, man, under investigation. It's bad enough that the dude Whack 100 and the dude Adam from No Jumping and the Vlad TV nigga, it's bad that them dudes have already, attracted the strobe light in a way where we are all subjected to this bullshit. You understand what I'm saying? And that ain't never gonna stop, because it's on the internet. We already know it's being watched, being dissected, and trying to be figured out. You understand what I'm saying is this. We have this forum right here. We have this medium of the podcast. We have this medium of YouTube. Let's use this medium to tell stories. We can tell our stories. You see what I'm saying? Bearing in mind the responsibility of the storyteller. Remember, the storyteller's aim and mission and goal is to educate and to entertain. If you not educating nobody, and if you ain't entertaining right here on this platform in conjunction to its aim, then you bullshit, homie. You know what I'm saying? You using the microphone to take personal shots at dudes who you probably always had a beef with for years ago, didn't know how to address him as a man, and so now you hiding behind this microphone somewhere in West Bubble fuck popping shit. We not doing that. Let's not do that here in this medium. You understand what I'm saying? You know, the shots that the boy Campbell took at Fruit, you know, whatever Fruit said back to him, I didn't see that, and then Zip, you understand what I'm saying? All of this around if Mano's a gangster. Mano's a gangster. I mean, you know, and he really showing us that. You know, me and Man grew up together. You understand what I'm saying? Once upon a time, me and Mano were like brothers. You understand what I'm saying? But right now, I'm proud of him in the sense that he is making his dream come true. You know, I seen it when it was formulated. We was up top together, you know, in the L back in the day when we were shorties, man. You know, and Maine always had this aim of wanting to be, you know, a celebrity, man, you know, self-made, man. It ain't nothing wrong with that. Let that inspire other people. You understand, saying who may want to pay attention to his journey and the trajectory that it took to land in him where he at. Because technically and truthfully, what that man doing is gangster. Why? Because he's winning. You understand what I'm saying? We are all sitting here polying about who he is and who he's not. I'm telling you, homie, for who I am and everything that I stand on, homie, I'm telling you, gangster. And everything that I stand on, I'm telling you, boy, come from where we come from. And come on. If you was in the buildings, you know what it is. We not gonna do that. You understand what I'm saying? Zip. That's how, you know, that's big, bro. You understand saying, and me and Fruit, like, you know, just stand on the switch. And what I'm saying is that, you know, not taking a side, you know, speaking with a biased tongue, because I'm the first one to tell any and everybody. There ain't no picking and choosing when they come over here. We not gonna pick and choose when it comes to the rules. We not gonna glorify and celebrate self-destruction. I'm not with it. I used to be with it, but I grew out of that mindset and grew into the mindset that has me right exact right here before you today, leading by example, talking that gangster shit to anybody who wanna listen. Because gangster ain't about pulling the strap and destroying what looks like you, bruh. Gangs, that's not gangster. That's a fucking idiot that's gonna get locked up and go to prison. And when you go to prison, you're gonna go through mad shit in there. You might make it back out like me, and if you do, I guarantee you your message to the community is gonna be exactly what mine is. You know, this is the process. These are the steps. You know, people, you know, want to always say there's levels to this shit. You know, you can look in my eyes, you can feel it in the tremor of my voice. You understand saying everything that I'm talking about, I stand on. You know, I'm not gonna give you a names list or who's who list. You know, as the podcast progresses and we get into stories, you're gonna find out who your boy is. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm trying to use that template of what it was, you know, in juxtaposition to now what it is. You know, when I was a child and foolish, I did child and foolish things. But when I became a man, I put away those childish and foolish things. You understand what I'm saying? And what's important to me now, what's gangster to me now, is being able to get the win in whatever you do. Negative or positive, you have to get the win. That's gangster. Getting knocked, sending dudes to go put in some work, they put it in, sit down and tell on everybody you get knocked, you jammed up. That ain't gangster, homie, because you got jammed up. Now it's gonna look like some sucker shit because everything gonna come out the bad. You understand what I'm saying? But when you can rap and tie up a loose end and keep that shit going, yo, negative or positive, that's gangster. You know, when we dig into it and we go into, you know, what led up to it, we might see some wishy-washy shit up in there. You're gonna have to live with that. You understand what I'm saying? But portraying this image of gangster being self-destructive, portraying this image of gangster being an idiot. Like the dude Big U, huh? That's real life shit. Like this dude was proud about being an inspiration to the character Debo. But if we could remember Debo from Friday, he was an idiot. Yeah, he was brolic and they'll fucking nigga, but the nigga was an idiot. You know, and dudes take pride and glorification and attaching their name and their persona to a character like that. It's like you giving these people, you understand, saying the hammer to bust you all upside the head when push comes to shove. Because we seeing it now. That ain't gangsta, homie. Having dudes checking in, putting the press on niggas, and now your business all in the street, everybody giving their opinion about what really happened and what didn't happen. That ain't gangsta. That's some corny shit. That's some goofy shit. A goofy nigga will go through that. It don't matter how much the brother was able to amass and keep on the stronghold. He watching it all crumble right now in actual reality, not virtual reality here. He in the penitentiary and he watching his life story being told about and dissected and mauled all over the media screen. He watching that. You understand what I'm saying? Because he once had all of that. But now that it's all crumbling down in his face and he can't even do nothing to touch it, he can't use none of it to even defend himself. How is that gangster, bro? You know what's gangster? Donald Trump losing the second election after he ran for 4 years to Joe Biden and then coming back beating Kamala Harris. That's fucking gangster. Why? You can feel whatever you want to feel about it, but he did it his way. And he got the win. You know, if gangster has to be associated with self-destruction, if being gangster has to be associated with death, if being gangster has to be associated with losing, I don't want to be no gangster. And neither should you. You get caught in the trick bag, like I continue to reiterate, from taking the bag, you get caught in the trick bag. Knocking something off and then you get knocked. Who gonna take care of your family, man? Those are the thoughts that goes through a gangster mind before he allows his trigger finger to go squeeze, man. And this is what I'm saying right here within this meeting, within this time, man. We have a time, because OGs like me could speak to that, man. We have this time right now to speak to the culture so that they can attribute that to the legacy. Because all of us wasn't banshees and gorillas and fucking wolves and animals and I mean figuratively dudes attach those to their names because of the imagery that go with it. But we never maintained the spirit of a diabolical beast. Like we just want to run around and destroy people and kill people because that's the way the culture is being portrayed through the lens of those who are perceiving it through drill music. You understand what I'm saying? And this internet thing. No, we ain't jacking no Charleston White because he giving the wrong message. You know, telling these kids to run around and tell. He could be abhorrent at what he see, you know, flat out totally disgusted by it. But you don't put out a fire by adding fuel to it. So dudes like him know they won't be able to fly over here. You understand what I'm saying? But that situation, like I was speaking about when I first entered the arena, this medium here, let's put that back and forth, corny, petty shit. Bringing up niggas' cases, talking about what niggas is hiding at in other places. We not doing that, homie, because that ain't gangster. You understand what I'm saying? You take this